Look at the remaining part of this registry chapter, part of a chapter. So the user hive. This is the personalization settings for each user. And so compromised accounts would be important to gather these. Then check machine accounts. These may have evidence, but usually it's the user accounts that were being compromised and used by the bad guys that are going to have the most immediate information. So shell bags, user assist, MUI cache, most recently used, all these are going to give you information about what programs have been launched. And then typed URLs and typed paths would help you to prove people in browsing sites, but I don't think they work now that we're not using Internet Explorer anymore. So shell bags, these are what's used to record where the windows were on your screen. You may have noticed when you close a window, when you open it up again later, it pops up in the same location and in the same view, like big icons, small icons, details. That's what's stored here. So it gives you a record of what windows have been opened on that machine, and therefore it gives you some information about what files they've been looking at and what programs they've been looking at. So it's got the full directory paths, and it's got these things recorded when the access occurred, so this can be quite useful to track attacker actions. Here's an example of shell bags. Once again, you need a special shell bags recovery tool, and then you'll see various folders, Reg Ripper, ADS, web surfing, forensic tools, when these things were created, when they were modified, and so on. So you have information about what folders have been opened. User Assist is the thing that tracks everything you have been launching, and therefore it can populate the Start menu. At the bottom of the screen, you can right-click on something like Microsoft Word, and it will show you the most recently opened Word documents, and that comes from this User Assist key. And this is probably the most glaring example of what I've been saying all along, which is that Microsoft Windows is not trying to spy on you to produce evidence for police, but it does in fact record things that are extremely useful. Like right here, it records everything you've been doing recently. So for a different reason, just to make it easier for you to find it and launch it again, but it does have the effect of keeping track of everything you've been doing. Now prefetch, so User Assist only tracks items opened by the Explorer, like the run box in the Start menu or clicking on that, but not from the command prompt. Prefetch files record everything, but they don't identify which user executed the program. So, they both have their value and they both have their limitations. Let's see what the comments are. Okay, good. All right. So, and the User Assist key, which I think you've done in the project, is obfuscated with ROT13. So if you used a registry viewer, it would show you that this is really recording Chrome, but what it actually puts in there is PUEBZR, which is Chrome with every letter shifted forward 13 characters in the alphabet, which is a ridiculous obfuscation scheme, but Microsoft has been doing this for a very long time, so somebody at some time must have thought that would fool somebody, although I don't think it would fool even a young child anymore. So the multilingual user interface is another cache. Remember, Microsoft is a multilingual system, supports all so-called commercially relevant languages. So you got information here about programs executed by a user, having something to do with his multi-language support. And most recently used keys, of course, are here that have these things. If you're in a program, you can go to recent files. It'll show you what was recently opened in this program. These are specified by applications. They're not the ones that come from the bottom of the toolbar, bottom of the desktop, the taskbar. So these are, each program has its own list of these things. There's no standard value. So you might have to hunt for these program by program. And there's a thing called MRU Blaster you can download that will clear the most recently used lists of many programs, a privacy tool. I don't know how good it is or how up-to-date it is, though, but there are these various tools to try to clear the evidence on your machine. Another one I've heard of is Evidence Eliminator. One of the ones that really got debunked is Chrome's incognito mode. Google just made a settlement because the incognito mode, Chrome continues to track everything you do just like the other browser windows, and that was considered to be contrary to the expectations they had created in the user. Now, in Explorer, files and folders most recently accessed in Open and Save menus are stored in the most recently used items. And the Start menu, things you've recently launched from the Run box. Start Run, where you type in things, which is something people used to do a lot in Windows XP. I don't know if it's that common anymore, but there is a list of what's been done there. Usually it's CMD, but you can launch other things here like services and so on. And let me check the chat. Okay, nothing new. All right, and so recently opened documents with any file extension. There's a recent folder. I don't think it's available in the GUI anymore, but Microsoft used to have a recent documents folder, and that's here. Again, I wonder if this is still maintained in modern versions of Windows. I don't think I've seen recent documents as an option for a while, but it might still be in the registry. And Internet Explorer had typed URLs and typed paths, so you can find URLs that people have typed into the browser bar, not just clicking on a link. And that was considered important if you're going to punish people for going to forbidden websites. You want to prove that they didn't just click on a link or have it automatically open somehow, they actually typed in the URL. But as far as I can tell, these do not work for Edge or any other browser, so they're pretty much out of date for modern versions of Windows. That's the point they prove intent. All right, and remote desktop, most recently used. If you use remote desktop like we're using to control Azure cloud machines, then it maintains a history of these. So this will tell you where they've been connected and who they attempted to log in as. So, all right. And there are tools to analyze the registry. regedit is the one built into Windows that's quite powerful, but there are other ones specifically designed for forensics, like regripper, that will analyze the registry and give you an output of what it finds there. In Windows Registry Decoder, Autoruns, and Velociraptor, as we've seen before. Autoruns gives you all the auto-start extensibility points, or at least a lot of them, and we've seen Velociraptor can do a whole lot of queries involving querying the registry for you. And then there's single-purpose utilities just for shell bags, just for user assist, and so on, and just for shim cache, which are probably not that important now that there's a free tool like Velociraptor that has a whole bunch of these built into it. All right, so let's take a look at the last Kahoot. And that would be here. 12B3. All right. Quite an avatar, a sun with an ice cream cone smashed on it. All right, I guess this is it. All right, which one will tell you which programs have been used, but not who launched them? Prefetch does that. Records the last 128 things that have been launched, but not who did it. All right, which one gives you programs launched from the Start menu, but not from the command prompt? User Assist. All right. and which one proves that a user intentionally visited a website. Type URLs if they're using Internet Explorer, which most people are not anymore. Like Steph. Oh.